These are the big new things happening in Venice in 2025.
We're going to cover the heavy hitters, some of the big things that are happening, some of the more overlooked things that are kind of flying under the radar, and what's going to happen with the real estate market. Let's get started.
The first thing is North Venice. North Venice is exploding with housing, but not only housing, there is a lot of different restaurants being open in the area, which is pretty cool to see. And we also think there might be more stores coming to that area because once you start building homes, then all the commercial follows.
Yeah, and the new hospital that's already there as well is awesome to have in the area as well. And if you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, you know we are very bullish on North Venice for a lot of reasons. First of all, we just think the location is amazing, being so close to 75 so you can get north and south quicker, but you're also only like a 10 to 15 minute drive to beaches, which I think it has that over Welland Park being closer, and just, yeah, being closer to Sarasota by being further north. So all of that combined, plus being like a 5 to 10 minute drive from downtown Venice is like, I mean, you're getting everything right there. And as more commercial stuff comes, I think it's only going to get better. But we do expect to see more development in all regards there this year.
And a lot of people love North Venice location because you're a lot farther inland. So hurricane risk is a little bit, as flooding goes, it's a little bit less. And you're also only 10 minutes from the closest beach, which is Nokomis Beach, and about 15 minutes to Venice Beach.
On that note, the second thing, and this one's kind of a little more under the radar, is new developments kind of happening on like in Jacaranda, in between like that North Venice area and more like Venice proper, I guess you could say. And along that like part of the road there, you're seeing some more commercial developments going in, some apartments and condos. We're seeing a new gated community, or at least a planned community. We're not sure if it's going to be gated yet. There's going to be some models that we can take a look at soon. We actually covered that a while ago on the channel when it was just dirt. And on top of that, we're seeing a lot of signs going up for retail and commercial development happening in that area too. So we're not exactly sure what's going to happen, but kind of filling out that North Venice area in between towards Venice, there's going to be a lot more coming. We know for sure with housing, and then we're not sure what for commercial at this point.
By the way, if you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Venice, Northport, Sarasota areas, make sure to call, text, or email our real estate team 941-221-1897. We'd love to help you out.
We've helped a lot of people move to the area, and we'd love to help you too.
Next is Welland Park and all the growth going on there. There is a lot of housing.
Say it.
There is a lot of opinions, whether Welland Park it's Venice or Northport or Englewood.
We think it's funny, as you can tell.
Yes, people have very strong opinions about it, but addresses are Venice, utilities and everything else, taxes is City of Northport, so I guess we could say it's both.
Yes.
It's
kind of its own thing.
Yeah, and it does feel a little bit closer to Venice than it does Northport proper, but it is technically Northport, but we do want to include it in this list because it's so close to Venice, and all the growth in Welland Park, it's going to affect Venice with all the shopping, all the restaurants coming to the area as well, and all the people as well coming to the area with all the new communities.
Yeah, a lot of people from Venice are going to Northport, or Welland Park, I should say, and that got me all messed up. But yeah, a lot of people go there now to hang out, so that's like a new thing for people that live in Venice. But on top of that, as far as I keep saying it. Welland Park, as far as Welland Park goes, their downtown is in phase 2 right now. So there's going to be a lot more shopping, restaurants. There's like a lot of areas that like were one thing, like parking lots, that are going to be switched over now and become new commercial developments, you know, retail stores, things like that, and restaurants. But then on top of that, Welland Park itself, you know, the communities, you know, the homes, there's a lot more of those coming as well, and a lot more commercial along Tamiami as well. So that's another thing to look forward to in 2025.
The next big thing is the completion, hopefully, of River Road. River Road, it's a main road that connects Venice to Englewood and also gives you quicker access to get onto I-75 to go south or north.
Yeah, I think that's probably like for a lot of people the most important thing, because right now it's like one lane, and there's with the construction it's kind of a messy one lane, but once it's done, having the extra lanes to get to the 75 a lot quicker, and just importantly give a lot of people from Welland Park and the certain parts, I guess, of Northport a quicker way to get to 75. The next one is, well, we can't say this is for sure happening in 2025 or even at all period, because like we should definitely look it up again and see if we can find any more updated information, because this has been more or less a rumor for like what, 2 years now, 3 years?
Yeah, but it was approved, I believe, last year, but nothing has happened yet.
And we're talking about Minnesota Beach Road,
Right.
basically being complete, or a continuation of it, which would make it super quick, lots quicker. You'd probably be shaving off like 10 minutes to drive from Welland Park to the beaches. That would just so all the stuff we said about North Venice that gave it its advantage would pretty much be gone. And I would say Welland Park might be a little closer to the beach then. It'd probably be pretty close.
Pretty close, depending on which community you're in. And also, that Minnesota Key Beach Road granting access to all the people from South Venice and also Englewood to go to Welland Park and, go to the downtown Welland Park, which is beautiful.
Yeah. And then also too, I think, some of those other like communities like Beach Walk and things like that would also feel a lot more connected. Like that would really increase the value of everything in that area as well. So like everyone would really win on that, I think. The only downside, I guess, to that potentially would be is right now, it would take you right to Minnesota Beach, right? And that's one of the quieter beaches.
Yes.
If that road goes in, that could probably change just because it's like for everyone in Welland Park, the closest beach. Granted, it is more of a naturey beach. Mm-hmm. So, maybe you want more of that Venice Beach vibe or, right. Englewood Beach. Then a lot of people still might make that drive, but just something, I guess, to consider. There's like with any change or growth, there's going to be pros and cons to it.
Next one is Jacaranda Plaza. This is one of our main plazas or shopping centers in Venice. There's a Marshall's there. There's a Burlington. I almost said Burlington.
Her niece and nephew call it Borington.
And this plaza, it's almost filled out. There are a couple more businesses that could go in, but we think that in 2025, this is going to happen. Yeah,
so having that completely filled out will be good. And there's also 2 spots that recently became, well, I shouldn't say 2, because technically I don't know if it's considered Jacaranda Plaza, but the Crave restaurant that went in and went out just about as quick as it went in, unfortunately, but something new will probably end up going in there, I would hope. And then Urban Taco went out of business, which is, I don't know if that's technically still considered part of the plaza because it's a separate building, but it's in the same parking lot.
Same street and everything.
I guess we'll see what'll go in there. Maybe something that's basically the same, like a Chipotle. I would be up for that. So it'll be exciting to see, I guess, what ends up going in there.
Yeah.
Next up, let's talk home values and what we think is going to happen for 2025 in Venice. I think, and we did a whole like market prediction basically for I don't even remember what we did. We just did Florida as a whole, I think. But this video, we're talking just Venice. And I think Venice, we're going to see mainly a flat appreciation, maybe a slight decrease in home values. I guess we'll have to wait and see how things play out, but
yes, because last month and the month prior, properties increased actually about 1%, but then we're still seeing price cuts. So that's why we always say, prices are continuing to go down. Even if we do see a 1% the previous month, it doesn't mean that it's going to continue trending up. But so far, this winter has been, and we're in January right now, 2025. Yeah. It's getting pretty busy. Houses are moving. It all depends on the neighborhood, yes. What house it's, what neighborhood is more popular. So some houses are still sitting and they are still taking longer to sell, but there are other ones that, they go live on the MLS and within 30 days they're gone.
Yeah, and as far as inventory goes, like right now, we're definitely in a buyer's market inventory-wise, but we're also in the time of year where places start moving pretty quick and we'll probably see that inventory level go down. But I think, yeah, not a lot has changed as far as supply, demand, and is, compared to last year, 2024 is pretty comparable, but I think to what we'll see this year, and interest rates, I don't think we're going to see a lot of changes in those. Yeah. And last year, what happened was prices went very gradually down, very slightly down. So unless there's some big changes, I think with like the stock market or something like that, or unemployment, things along those lines, I don't foresee any big changes personally.
Yeah, I think people are getting to the realization that if you need a home and you need it now, you're going to kind of like bite the bullet on interest rates and hoping that they do come down, just because we've been waiting for interest rates to come down over the past year and a half, and they are still staying at that 7% mark, but hopefully this is the year that they do come down.
Yeah, but it could be a good time too, because it is a little bit more of a buyer's market. Like, some people are still calling for this big crash in Florida. Some are saying, we always said correction. And what we always used to say was the correction will be just a lot of years of flat. Yeah. And that's kind of what's happening right now. So we do have a crystal ball. No, but so I don't think things are going to crash personally or correct by dipping down. So with that being said, this might be a good time to buy because, you know, your historical, well, I guess because it's this way, appreciation will keep going up. But since it did this, a flattening kind of is what's, you know, going to keep it
coming down.
It's kind of like almost the equivalent to going down instead of just not going up a little bit.
Yes.
So could be a good time to buy since the supply is higher and since, you know, eventually I think interest rates will be going down.
And also there is a lot less competition because there are a lot of buyers that are priced out of the market because of those interest rates being so high. So if you are one of the buyers that it's blessed to be able to get approved, even if you are going to have a higher interest rate for like maybe a couple of years, as long as you can make the payments, I think it's a great time to buy, just because, and I know a lot of times people are like, well, you're a realtor, of course you're gonna say it's a great time to buy, but no, it's more or less, there's a lot less competition because there's a lot of buyers that are not able to afford the prices and the interest rates. And also, if you're purchasing, say interest rates come down, then property values are gonna go up again because you're gonna pay for it either way, whether it's in interest rates or if it's property values. Usually there is a correlation between those two.
Yeah, and I think one other thing to consider with all of what she just said is looking at, you know, your equity too. If you've got a lot of equity, then it makes even more sense now because you're not having to bite the bullet, quote unquote, quite as much. So I guess we'll see how things play out, but that's our prediction for 2025 for that.
Next is growth for the city as a whole, and I think growth is holding up pretty steadily. I mean, we're not seeing as many people moving to the area, to Florida in general, as we did in 2020, 2021. So that has slowed down quite a bit, but we still have people moving to the area.
I do want to point out something too, because I've seen a comment from a few different people that like there's more, they said there's more people moving out of Florida, but there's not. It's actually still like one of the most inbound migrated states in the United States. It's not number one anymore, but it is still growing. So just to kind of put that in perspective, because sometimes I don't know where people get the information from, but just so you're aware, like it's not like, you know, things have fallen off a cliff here like some people think. But yeah, I think we're going to see some slow, steady growth this year, not like 2020 and 2021.
And actually, I did see an article about Welland Park that it's the number 6 in the country that people are moving to and purchasing property. So that's interesting too to keep in mind. Welland Park being, you know, right next to Venice, it's also going to contribute to the growth because all the people, or a lot of the people I should say, in Welland Park come to Venice for shopping. A lot of their kids go to school in Venice. Although Welland Park will have their own high school eventually.
Well, yeah, I guess that's like another thing we should talk about as far as the future, because I think that is coming this year. I want to say that'll be completed.
Yeah, and there is one charter school that is completed already, and then there's an elementary school as well. So
and the pre-K.
Yes. So in all regards, all those schools being in Welland Park, maybe some people will still send their kids to Venice because some people like the school ratings that you can look up online for Venice as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there, but I do think it's going to continue to grow, especially considering Welland Park, it's Venice addresses.
That being said, the future looks bright overall, I think.
Yes.
But if they want to buy or sell a home in this area, what do you think they should do?
Make sure to call, text, or email our real estate team, 941-221-1897. We've helped a lot of people move to the area. We'd love to help you too.
I think that sounds like a pleasant idea. And if you want to see more about what it's like to live in Venice, Florida, check out this video right here. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and live breezy.